Okay, what's up? We are today going to be talking about continuing how to be successful with AI and kind of setup part two. Go back and watch part one to kind of configure your Finder and local laptop. Now we're talking just organization again, but this time in context of over a span of time. Um, Note taking with Notion, and yeah, having a calendar and tracking your time and your tasks with Notion Calendar. Now, these obviously are connected, Notion and Notion Calendar. They are separate. You first, primarily, we're focusing on Notion. Um, and to get Notion Calendar, well, you type in uh, first of all, you have to get the Notion app just online. And then from that point, once you configure everything, then you come into at the bottom left here, there's like this little calendar icon. There's also a Notion mail that I don't particularly use yet, but click this calendar. It'll bring you to another website and you can download this Notion calendar here. So kind of a general high level go through, set it up. Um, we have um, we have this right here. Uh, the main thing you want to start with in Notion is just your setting up your first database. So yes, you can like this is what a new Notion page looks like. If you have a new project, you can go uh, in here you can do stuff like forward slash. Once you understand that forward slash, Notion gets really easy. Um, you can do cool stuff like grab this left pane here and bring it to the right of that and organize kind of like that. And Notion feels like an Apple, you know, in the Apple ecosystem. It really does. Just the feel and the flow to everything. Divider. What else you got? You got cool to-do lists, and you'll learn the shortcuts of um, all this. Like you could just kind of see there, and you can come through and mark stuff off, and you can have all of these wherever, right? So you kind of get the idea of what a new kind of page looks like and the stuff you can do. Another thing is slash database inline. Kind of avoid table, avoid full page, database inline. You can always just new empty, and you can go really whatever you add. It's like an Excel thing. You have this here. You can customize the name. You can put its own icon, stuff like that. And then basically a record in Excel is a page here. So you do that, and it's technically like we just created this page. This is technically um, uh, its own page, so you can like open it up. And this is kind of like the same thing, own page. So we only have one property right now. You can add a property. You can go, hey, this is a thing, and boom, we got that. And then, what else do we have? We have a checkbox, and we have a. Uh, uh, this is we'll get to. We're gonna make one together, one database inline together, but you can kind of get the idea here of what all kind of stuff you can do if you have tasks, if you have, if it's just kind of a to-do list for a certain project. So if this is like, project one and this is to do, you can come in and you can go, hey, check boxes, did I do it? And multi-select. Multi-select is cool. That's how you kind of like, I always do multi-select and call it tags. And you can just create your own tags like uh, you know any type of project thing. uh, you know, whatever. So you can like, in a new thing, this can just be plan, and then in this it can be, it can be all, it can be none, it can be one, it could be two. Kind of get the idea, right? And check stuff off. Cool, good, started, done. I guess these two are the same thing, but all right. So that's Notion kind of 101. We're going to make a way to combine these two, Notion and Notion Calendar, and all that means is what we just did with creating a database inline. Except we're going to do one thing. We're going to add a date property, right? So just adding a property, it's called date. So if in our example here, actually, I guess we're done there. But I mean, yeah, this is kind of our setup. So kind of what we just did. We're going to open a new page. And check the description down below for this guy. But same thing that we just did, clicked on that, cool. So we're gonna make a new thing here. We're gonna title it, rename it task table. We're going to just create a bunch of properties like we just did. I recommend tags, notes. You can see I have project specifically, and that's like just a drop down, not tags. That's called select property. But yeah, and then I just kind of reordered it and did priority. I did stuff that kind of I like. But the main thing is date. You add date, and then it automatically, you can select it in Notion Calendar. If it doesn't have date, like the one we just made with Hey Howdy, or Project One, I think we called it, it doesn't show up here. Now, my subscriptions has a date. You can make some cool stuff. Like, look, I got LinkedIn Gold tomorrow, and I get also a notification in my inbox that LinkedIn Gold right here is coming due tomorrow. Sweet, appreciate it. So if I wanted to plan, I set a thing 2 days out ahead so I could cancel that $30 a month. So subscriptions, it's a thing. Look, it's got a date. Cool, date, because it's there, it shows in as an option to select. So the number one thing that we're gonna do is make just this calendar, and that's right here for me. I've favorited it. Everything that's kind of in here, except subscriptions, I guess, but every date type thing, I kind of favorite it, and that's, you can just do that and add to favorites. But yeah, so just start with, we're gonna do two things today. Here's the plan for today, right? Configure your Notion calendar. Just download everything. Do it on desktop, do it on mobile for both Notion and Notion Calendar. Again, you're not going to find Notion Calendar download, but you could download Notion first and then click this Notion Calendar. Cool. So now you have that on phone and iPad, or phone and desktop. So boom, and then add your email. What's great about Notion Calendar is this is absolutely connected. I can bring over all my reoccurring everything from Gmail, from Google Calendar, and I have Apple, so I connect it with that. But everything Gmail is over here, and it's great. These blue ones represent, the Gmail. So if it seems overwhelming right now, just give it a download and give it a shot, because I think you'll find it very quickly. You'll be able to kind of get your head around it. But you can see how it's kind of connected, right? So like right here, when I go to LinkedIn, right here when I'm on the subscriptions, you can see, the crossover here, and I can actually change stuff. If I change card from First Bank, yep, it just changed. It just changed LinkedIn Gold, which is right here, to First Bank. And if I change it over here, back to Capital One, click over here, give it a second, maybe click off, click on, but that's gonna change. So it's absolutely tied. It'll change. It would change, but whatever. So they're totally connected. So all right, we got everything set up and configured in Notion Mail. You got Notion. So all we're gonna do is create this task list. So that's my little calendar here, and this is every single thing I do. All these purple like tasks, they all pull up here. All right, they're all in here. And I can make something just like you can make something over there. If I do this and just drag and drop and say thing to do, click enter, click off of it, thing to do is gonna pop up. It might not always be at the top, but thing to do is gonna load over here. Thing to do, we're gonna see it. Where is it? Anyway, yeah, thing to do is in here. But you can kind of get the idea of why this is helpful. Blocking your day, what did I do? And the main crux of this is like you can't improve on anything that you don't track. So if you have like certain things that you want to accomplish with AI, you like see the benefits, this and that. Well, how are you going to own that process without owning your time, which is your most valuable asset, resource, whatever? So you gotta know kind of what's all going on and where you're spending your time and how helpful that is. And when you actually block it out and put it on a calendar, how you're spending your time, maybe at 10 degrees you shift like a tiny little bit because you can see that where the value is and where it isn't. So again, we're just setting this up. You opened a new page, you typed / you did database inline, you did first hover over the columns, add new, whatever. Second, right click on task table, create a task table, all that stuff. You rename the table to task table here. You just like it's reflected over here. You titled it whatever you want to title the page, the main thing, and you added these properties. All right, so now you're set. So now every single time, because you have that date function, now when you come over here and go here, you're gonna look for task list. You're gonna add it, and you're just gonna 3 dots and make it default calendar, and boom, because that's the main thing, right? That you want. So yeah, money. So now that's in there. Now and it is gonna be a process if you don't kind of already do this, but odds are you'll catch on quickly. But yeah, you've added that. You see, I only have 3. The next one we're gonna do today, subscriptions. You'll figure that out on your own if you want to own that process. But habits is another thing I say we could set up today. So don't do it in the same one. Have this as its own page, right? Your own calendar with its database inline in here. That's cool. But leave that be. And just so you know, this is a page. You can also like do a page within the page. So that's where this setup SOP that we were just looking at. I was like, hey, I want to be able to explain this to my sister, explain this to some buddies. So I just set that within the larger page, and that's where it's kind of based. So to do that, you just do / is your friend in Notion, and then page, and that creates a new page, right? So, but you don't want to do for habits. We're going to move on to habits now because that's set up. You should be good. You should be dialed. You brought everything in. You can change the colors, go crazy. But cool. So, yeah, good stuff. And then, so I made a new page. So just do, this new page icon right there, create new page. I call this page habits. And these are kind of my habit tracking right here. I just added this, 3 others, but I've been doing this for 263 days here. So this morning, first thing I woke up, I did Duolingo, I got my heart rate up. Um, so I'm checking those off, and that's cool because I just marked these off, right? But I come over here, and if you give it a minute or two, it will pick up on it over here. It's not exactly immediate, but it'll show up there, right? So I got a couple habits knocked off. So same thing. I mean, this is just / database inline, right? Boom. I called this, actually, I hid this in this example. I just go 3 dots. I go hide because it's already, it's already whatever. And then I just made these the name. Oh, and then this is how you do reoccurring, because it's like, all right, hey, it's gonna come up every day, right? We want the habits to come up every day without kind of like the task list thing where it's like one-offs. Or I come in and I like say daily habits, and those things are there. I don't want to have to title it. I don't have to click the new page. I just want it to be there every day. I mean, I didn't do anything with this morning. It's just there every day, and you can see it always populates, and it'll do it tomorrow, and yeah. So, got distracted. Okay, so yeah, boom. So I want to keep this under 20 minutes, but boom. So you got this. So you're gonna come over to this new. Don't click new. Click this little drop down, and you'll see new template. Go ahead and click that. At the top, you're going to repeat every day. Every one day around midnight, starting tomorrow, ending never. All good. Save. And then we're going to call it daily habits. And then you'll add all just in a checkbox, right? Checkbox, every habit that you have. So I have, I kind of showed you mine. And I said emoji. I have a thing there. But I mean, rename it to whatever it is and just do checkboxes. Do a couple of them, right? However many you want to have. My one suggestion, don't do 10. It's going to be too much. Do like 2 or 3. Just track that so you get in the habit of it. But boom. And then you come in, and every day now, it's going to, because when you come back here, it's a template. It's a repeating every day, that yellow box at the top. Every day that's going to be live. So obviously I already have mine, so I'm deleting this. But that's how you set up what you see right here. So like I said, I have heart rate up. Did I work out? Did I do some Spanish? Did I track my food in MyFitnessPal? Did I do some sort of stretching or stillness or breath work or something? And then I just introduced these 3. So, but I would just start with 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 habits. So you come over here, and then again, you have to add it to your Notion calendar. So add Notion database, and then you call that habits, right? Because it's from the habit sheet, boom. And then it's going to show up every day now in Notion calendar. Pretty sweet. Just a way to get organized. You're tracking the main metrics of you and what makes kind of you successful. You got habits. What's a cool thing is if you come down to the bottom, I have like percentages of all my habits of the days. That's if you just click individual column, and if you go calculate percent checked, that'll show up at the bottom, and you can kind of see that. You can also export this. So say like every quarter you want to print your task list calendar, and every month you want to print your daily habits. You can come here, you can go export, and you can do it as a markdown, you can do it as a PDF, HTML, markdown in CSV. So you could just, export it how you want, and create kind of the tracking of the tracking, and have it, printed off, have it somewhere like in your folders. That's a big success thing, having like a file, like a printed folders. It's not just binders everywhere, real folders. But yeah, that's basically all we got. So you got that, you got your habits. You know, you can also schedule like with that reoccurring. You know, this is for my sister. Office hours and class times, cool. Where it's like a repeating thing every week instead of every day. And you can do some, you know, other cool repeating type doodads, you know, habits. Date for daily, I have habits. Weekly, I fill my little pill thing. I start my laundry, my bed sheets, clean my water bottle, export my calendar, my task list. Certain learning things that come on a strict schedule that I take notes on. Then I have monthly reoccurring, so sort my technology. So there, I just you know, go to ChatGPT, for example, and all the chats. Well, I've made a bunch of projects, a bunch of folders in ChatGPT, and basically every month I'll go in and I'll put them in their folders and text sort. Also, it's like organize my spend time organizing my local iCloud and desktop and folders and subfolders and whatnot. Monthly, I have just work stuff, more work stuff, um, just learning stuff, work stuff, and yeah, quarterly even. I have like backing up everything to a hard drive, personal stuff. So you could, you know, really make this the calendar like really beefy and really like okay, boom, like really dialed in. And yeah, you can just like for all of these, you click in primary and you can check stuff off, and it creates a little check mark, and you can see what you do, what you didn't get to. You know what's Hertzner to Verso. I did do that. But you can like if you didn't get it done this day, you just put it on tomorrow, right? Um, yeah, kind of get the idea. We'll wrap it there. So yeah, the only things to kind of think on are like, all right, what reoccurring tasks, weekly, daily. Well, I think habits is the only one daily that's really good, but weekly, monthly, what kind of are like reoccurring things for to get organized and to just, you know, stay on top of whatever you gotta do. But this will really help with AI and just the overall management of, you know, how good the technology is, and just kind of being on your A game, and being able to, you know, follow through on projects and setting yourself up to kind of put yourself in the best position to use these tools. That kind of concludes the setup and the non AI stuff. So we'll get into the AI stuff next video. But yep, good stuff. Talk soon. Bye.